Hey there, Photo Universe. Okay, so today's topic is K3 sharpness, K3 image quality. Been reading on the forums that evidently K3's got some problems. People can't seem to get a sharp image with the thing. So, well, I got a couple of thoughts on that. First of all, the camera's been out a couple of weeks now. Second of all, we've had a 16 megapixel sensor in our Pentax cameras for 4 years now. And it's been the same sensor. It's been in the K1, K01, the little brick thing. Great camera, don't mean to put it down, don't have one, but people seem to love it. It's been in the K5, K52, K52S. I don't know, the other cameras, I'm not sure. I mean, I get K50, K30. I mean, the 16 megapixel sensor, we've had it for 4 years now. Every Pentax that has come out has had the same sensor. So every time people have switched cameras, if they have, they've had nothing to learn as far as the sensor is concerned. All of a sudden the K3 comes out, now we got a 24 megapixel sensor and it's a different sensor. It's new technology. Trust me, there's going to be a learning curve on that. I'll give you an example. I know this from experience. I was shooting Nikon D200 and really got to know that camera, really dialed it in and was chasing the resolution because I was doing big prints, 16 by 24, and I was selling them. And then I got the D300 and I was all excited because I went from 10 megapixels to 12 megapixels and I went out there and I started shooting. And right away I was kind of like, oh no, I'm not getting anything out of this. This is a step backwards. That was my initial impression. This is definitely a step backwards when I went from the D200 to D300, because the D300 images on the screen were terrible. They weren't sharp. Hi, PhotoCat, thank you. They weren't sharp. It was terrible, and I was very disappointed. And it really took me 3 or 4 months of shooting the D300 to get that thing dialed in. And I think the big learning curve there was going from the CCD sensor to the CMOS sensor, maybe the extra couple of megapixels. I don't know. I think the bigger difference was the CCD to the CMOS, learning how to deal with getting the thing sharp. There's no doubt in my mind that people are in for a rude awakening if they've been shooting a K5 or a K52, K52S or K50 or K30 or whatever for the past 4 years, and now they think they're just going to roll out with what they were doing and go from 16 megapixels to 24 megapixels and think that they're going to have no big deal. Just psh, there you go. There's a curve. There's going to be a learning curve. You're going to have to tighten up. If you're going to set that thing to 24 megapixels JPEG, you better tighten up your technique and you better get some better lenses. Because if you're thinking you're going to see an image, the chain is only as strong as its weakest link. If you're putting crap lenses on a 24 megapixel camera, don't expect it to be any better than your last camera, because the limiting factor was your lens, right? Hey, no offense, but I don't, this is harsh, but this is what it is. Don't say, oh, it's a K3, it's a piece of junk. It's one possibility. Dial the K, if you're shooting JPEGs at 24 megapixels and you're not seeing any difference, dial the K3 back to medium JPEG. That's 14 megapixels. Try that. See if you're getting sharp shots that way. Right? That might bring the camera down to where you're at in terms of what you're doing what you were doing with your 16 megapixel sensor. Then once you get that sharp, then go to 24, and if it's not sharp, then you need to tighten up your technique or your lens, or get a better lens. Okay, so having said all that, by technique I mean you eliminate you can't hand hold a 200 millimeter lens at 1/60th of a second, shake reduction or not. Really, because the 24 megapixels, if you're looking for that nth degree of sharpness, you're going to have that nth degree of technique, right? So having said all that, yesterday I ran out up the creek here real quick just to see. I got, I got to see, is there an issue with the K3 sensor? And I took about 50 shots, and they're not gonna win any prizes, trust me on that one. But I wanted to see, what's this image quality all about? What's the print quality all about? So this is a K3 shot, and I'm not holding this up so you guys can see it and go, oh yeah, look at that. I'm just holding this up to see. This is proof I made the print, right? It's a 16 by 24, and there it is. And when I look at this 16 by 24, it's, like I said, this photograph is not going to win any prizes. However, when I see what I need to see out of this, okay, I see what I'm looking for. If you're not getting a sharp shot, okay, maybe I got the only K3 in the world that's sharp. I'll sell you this one, make me offers, bidding will open, because the rest of them aren't sharp. I don't know what's going on. I look at this, and based upon this print, I will tell you right now, if I was taking a once-in-a-lifetime trip to Scotland to do landscapes, the K3 would be my choice. I don't know what else to say. I mean, I'd bring 2 or 3 of them. If I was going on a once-in-a-lifetime trip, I wouldn't want it to break down. But I wouldn't sell all my... if I won the lottery, I wouldn't sell all my gear and buy a D800. The K3 is what I want to shoot. It's got the interface I like. I'm starting to get excited again, see? Well, that's why people tune in, because, Ed goes off. Anyway, the K3 is the camera. The K5, K5-2S, K5-2, those are the cameras that I like. The interface, I like the size, I like the mobility versus firepower. And now with the K3 firepower, are you kidding me? This is 5D Mark III quality right here. I'm telling, I wouldn't, if I won the lottery, I was going to take a trip to Scotland, or I was going to take a trip to, I don't know, someplace I want to go photograph landscapes, Hawaii or Arizona. I may do that soon. I would not go buy D800s or 5D Mark IIIs or 1DXs or any of that. The K3 image quality is where it's at. I'm talking specifically, the people on the web are saying they can't get sharp shots. I mean, if there was if I looked closely, I could probably see spiders crawling around this rock. It's there, and more importantly, I did this in black and white on purpose. I did this in black and white on purpose. The tonality's there. Okay, that micro contrast, that specific look, I can tell from these tones. It's doing it. I'll tell you right now. This is a cheap, fast, quick test print kind of a deal. It was a quick, fast shot test print, ran up the creek, look by my house. I just wanted to test and see what the K3 was going to produce. And I can tell from this print that the reason why this isn't fine art is because I did not compose it or put the time into the post-processing and get my, it's just not, the subject matter, it's not the camera. If you're not getting the results you want from that camera, it's not the camera. Okay, specifically what did I do here? Shake reduction was off. I was on a tripod. I was using the infrared remote, by the way, works. No problem. Somebody posted a question, hey, does the IR remote work? Works great. I'm starting to use that instead of a cable release. I like to push the button, it's easier. Okay, on a tripod, shake reduction off. I don't know the specific settings of this. I bracket a lot. This was probably f8. I remember the shutter speeds were like 1/3 of a second, 1/2 a second. Shot some at f11, some at f16. Diffraction isn't an issue. If this was one of the ones up around f16, you mean they can only get sharper? Really? So on a tripod, mirror lock up, lock the mirror up. No vibration. So good technique. And this was the Tamron 70-200, probably around 150. I don't know the specifics. It doesn't matter. A good quality, professional quality lens. I know that lens delivers. And guess what? The camera delivers. I don't know how else to say it. If it turns out that I've got the only sharp working K3 in the world, I will sell it. Okay, we'll open up bidding, And there you go. I'll have my $1 million. I'll go buy another K3 and I'll take my trip to Scotland. I don't get this. I do get it. I know what it is. It's a new sensor and people are freaking out. And having said all that, let me get to an important point here. You know what? These images, when I put them up on my screen, did not wow me. Okay, but this image, when I brought, in terms of sharpness, when I was doing pixel peeping at 100%, didn't wow me. This image only started to, the only time that this image popped off the screen and I was like, oh, there might be something here, was when I had done all my contrast and all my tweaking in Photoshop, and when I brought up Smart Sharpen. And I Smart Sharpened this, I think, at 100% at 0.5 radius. And when I A-B'd that, I was like, whoa, there it is. And that was, and this was at 100%. And I saw the sharpening ability, maybe, and I'm just throwing this out there as a possibility, maybe the JPEG sharpening is very conservative. So if I'm getting soft JPEGs out of my K3, I'll tell you right now, what I would do right now is I would boost up the default sharpening. Not a lot, but in increments and test. But I think that might be part of the problem, because this raw shot, I shot DNG raw, did not start wowing me. But you know, I was going to head down the road, and this did not start wowing me until I got to the sharpen stage, right at the end of my post-processing. And when I hit that sharpen, I was like, whoa, okay, there it is. And it wasn't, I mean, I could have sharpened it more. It did not get brittle. I didn't push it, but it was good enough for, you know, I figured that's okay. I haven't pushed the edges of this yet. This is just preliminary stages. If this is what I get first thing out of the gate, like I said, if I were doing a National Geographic landscape special to the Sahara, I'd take the K3. I don't know how else to say this. If you're, let me offer some encouragement. If you've got a K3 and there's PhotoCat number 2. She never comes around. Look at that. Wow. Sorry. If you've got a K3 and you're not getting the results you want, what I am saying is stick with it. It's not the camera. You need to learn the camera. You need to figure out what is the weak link in the chain. And I'll tell you right now, it's not the camera. That's based on 30 years experience as a photographer doing landscapes. Okay, printing in my own darkroom for years with film, medium format, large format. I can tell immediately the results are there. I know this doesn't look like much, but it's the little nuances in these details here that I'm like, yeah, okay, this could be fixed, that could be fixed, all this could be fixed. But you can't get that kind of resolution, you can't get that kind of tonality unless the camera's delivering the goods. This little section here is perfect. I can take this little section here, if I make the whole print like that, I got a winner if the composition was better. So that's it with Photo Universe, and hey, hang in there with your K3s. Pentax, I mean, yeah, this is a game changer. This is full frame image quality in an APS sized professional camera for $1,300. I saw it at Amazon.com, had it for $11.99. Okay, so you can't. It's a bargain. I don't know what to tell you. So anyway, hopefully this helps to straighten out some of the confusion out there. All right, and it's encouraging to the guys who have K3s and they're like, I'm not getting the results I want. That's what I want to do. I want to encourage you to say, keep at it. You've got one of the most awesome cameras ever made, as far as I can tell. If I find something wrong with the K3, I'll make a video about it immediately, and I will get it up there. But so far, I am nothing but impressed. Okay, and with Photo Universe, have a great one. All right, this is Black Friday morning, and we went out last night. Anyway, I'm prattling on now. Have a good one. Thanks.